Welcome to the 2016 Franklin State of the City Address. Allow me to begin by offering my appreciation to all of the Artcraft staff led by Rob Schiltz and the numerous volunteers with Franklin Heritage and the Artcraft Theater. As you all know, the Artcraft is a central focus of much of the growth of our downtown has experienced over the past several years. Matter of fact, this past Saturday, my wife and I were able to enjoy a nice sponsorship fundraising event here at the Artcraft. Unfortunately, they took down a lot of the props because it was a pirate theme, and I was kind of hoping we'd be able to do that again. But last I checked, they raised a little over $70,000 on Saturday night to keep this, keep the movie's sponsorship going. I was actually going to start my speech with what I have scripted, but I'm going to go off script for just a second because shortly after I provided this speech to the Daily Journal for their review this afternoon, about 5 minutes later I received word that I can answer one question that I get more than any other question today, and nearly every day I get this, is Meyer still coming? Every day I get that. It's not about Jefferson Street project or anything, it's all about Meyer. Meyer is still coming. And we actually have some information. They will break ground the 1st of May. So they are still coming. So we're excited to welcome them this year as well, probably more like 2017. Once again, it is an absolute honor to be standing before you tonight as I begin my 5th year as your mayor. Every year it seems that I stand in front of you with the same introduction. We had another amazing year with incredible progress. Well, I can honestly say Franklin just continues to get better. Early on, we planted some seeds that are now starting to blossom and flourish and taking our community to the next level. The past 4 years have gone by in a flash, and 2015 was undoubtedly the quickest. As we progress through our journey of taking Franklin to the next level, more and more exciting projects get added to our ever-growing list. None of what is going to be discussed tonight would have been accomplished without the dedication of the city staff working for you every day. I may be a bit biased, but I feel we have the best in the state, and that we are led by a group of highly talented leaders. I'd like to introduce them now. Your Department of Public Works Superintendent, Rick Littleton, Utility Building Office Manager, Sherry Phillips, Community Development Director, Krista Linke, City Engineer, Travis Underhill, Street Commissioner, Brett Jones, Park Superintendent, Chip Warner, Fire Chief, Dan McLeay, Police Chief, Tim O'Sullivan, and the one that keeps me out of trouble every day, City Attorney, Lynn Gray. I would also like to recognize our Communications Director, Angie Longton, and City Hall Administrative Assistant, Sandy Lipsius, for assisting me in my day-to-day needs and providing the presentation for this evening. Now I would like to take a moment to introduce your elected officials for the City of Franklin. Council members Joe Alt, Ward 1, Richard Wirtz, Ward 2, Drew Eggers, Ward 3, Ken Austin, Ward 4, Joe Abbin, Ward 5, Keith Fox, at-large member, and Council President Steve Barnett, also at-large. Our newly elected Clerk Treasurer, Jane Rhodes, and our City Court Judge, Kim Van Baylor. Also in attendance tonight are dedicated folks appointed to serve on boards for the City of Franklin. If you're one of those folks, could you please stand to be recognized? Council members, appointed folks, elected officials. I want to also recognize the most important thing to me, my family. Their love and support, understanding and patience, most of the time, is what I value most. Thank you, and I love you. Tonight, I'm going to start a new tradition in Franklin. I think we would all argue that our city is a fabulous community with an ever-growing list of festivals, events, impactful nonprofit and religious organizations, and youth programs. Many of these groups would not be successful or even exist if not for one thing: volunteers. I attribute much of our strong community sense, successes, growth, and pride to our volunteers. And I firmly believe they must be recognized for their hard work. This evening, I'm introducing a distinction that I hope continues long after my days as mayor, a Volunteer of the Year award. Annually, we will announce a nomination period when folks will have the opportunity to nominate an individual who has had a positive impact on an organization as a volunteer. The nominations will be reviewed, and the Volunteer of the Year will be announced at future State of the City addresses. So tonight, I would like to introduce the inaugural recipient of the Volunteer of the Year award. This year, no nominations were accepted. This first year was solely my choice. This duo has probably spent more time at City Hall over the past 4 years than I have. They volunteer more of their time for our great city than anyone could ever imagine. If you shop our farmers market May through October, you have seen them. If you attend any of our wonderful downtown festivals, you have seen them. If you have attended any of the events or movies here at the wonderful Artcraft, you have seen them. Marty and Carolyn Williams donate countless hours for the betterment of Discover Downtown Franklin, Franklin Heritage, the Johnson County Museum, Johnson County Garden Club, and the Farmers Market. Discover Downtown Franklin Director Tara Payne provided the following statement. Marty and Carolyn are two of the most selfless and hardworking people I know. Not only do they give their time to several organizations in Franklin, they give their hearts. I'm blessed to have them on my board of directors, to have them as mentors, and to have them as friends. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Marty and Carolyn for their incredible commitment to our community, and I invite you up on stage, you two. By the way, they had no idea this was coming. So the few in the audience that knew this was happening, thank you for keeping it a secret. We've been planning this for months, so I'm glad that we were able to do this. I think there's also some people on the side of the stage over here that you may know and you may recognize. They may have played a little part in this. So on behalf of the city, I'm going to provide them with the key to the city of Franklin. It's presented to Marty and Carolyn Williams, Volunteers of the Year, by Mayor Joe McGinnis, February 9th, 2016. Stay up here for just a second. We didn't stop there. As we were discussing this internally, we felt we should give this award a name. So in addition to them receiving the first Volunteer of the Year award, we've decided to name this award in their honor. From here forward, the City of Franklin's Volunteer of the Year award shall be named the Marty and Carolyn Williams Award. This plaque was made to recognize each year's recipients, and it will be prominently displayed inside the City Council chambers at City Hall. At the top, it says Marty and Carolyn Williams Volunteer of the Year Award. So we obviously have some spaces to fill in the coming years, but looking forward to it, and we will be very proud to display this inside of City Hall. So, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, hopefully that's a tradition that we can continue to grow and expand on as the years come for the city of Franklin. For those of you that aren't familiar, I jokingly say that we are the parade capital of definitely of Indiana, maybe even the United States. But with those parades, a lot of times come festivals and other events. And if it wasn't for people like Marty and Carolyn, we wouldn't be able to pull them off. So really want to make sure we recognize those folks as we go forward, whether it's any philanthropic endeavor, whether it's interchurch food pantry, religious organizations, humane societies, whatever that may be. We want to open this up to our community for nominations, and we'll continue to present this award annually. But from here on forward, it will be named after Marty and Carolyn. Back to the city business. As I touched on earlier, 2015 was another benchmark-setting year in Franklin. I credit this to our strong fiscal stance and continued investment in our infrastructure. Just last week, I asked the City Council to return $591,506 to the city's rainy day fund. These are dollars that were appropriated but unexpended from the 2015 budget. We continue to build on our cash reserves in an effort to protect us from unforeseen emergencies or downturns in our economy. This pushes us over the $4.5 million mark within our rainy day fund. Even with a surplus, we were still able to accomplish many incredible things to improve our community. Most recently, I have challenged Police Chief Tim O'Sullivan to bring concepts to the department that not only fight crime and drug abuse, but also shed a positive light on our police officers who work hard every day. This past fall, I authorized the addition of 2 new canine officers to our department to join our existing canine Jari and his handler, Officer Tim Coy. Pepper and his handler, Officer Jeffrey Daw, and Stinger with his handler, Officer Russell Krause. Unfortunately, Jari, who is now 12 years old, must now retire, so we will be introducing another new canine to the department sometime later this year. Pepper, who is on the screen here behind me, is a single-purpose dog, which means she is for drug detection only. The goal is to get Officer Jeffrey Daw and Pepper out into the schools and festivals and events to interact with the public, specifically our children. Most impressively, Pepper's only been on the job since November 28th and has already been responsible for 8 drug arrests. And the picture on the left there you see on the screen was just this past weekend. Over 2 pounds of marijuana and $4,000 cash and an illegal handgun were seized because of Pepper. Stinger, the other canine, a bit more aggressive, a dual-purpose dog, recently apprehended a wanted felon as he ran from our officers. We also introduced a 4-officer bike patrol in 2015 and have received rave reviews. During the spring and summer, we often had residents positively comment on the new addition and how nice it was to see officers out of their vehicles. Due to solid collaboration with surrounding police, sheriff, and federal agencies, in September, we were able to get over 50 drug dealers off the streets of Johnson County. We have also stepped up our efforts to solve the heinous murders of China and Blake Dickus. We continue to add to our cash reward of over $25,000 due to generous donations from the family and the public. Billboards have been utilized, and the case has been featured recently by local newscasts. We will not rest on this case until the responsible individual are brought to justice. Our fire department recently replaced battalion vehicles in 2015 so they may better respond to emergencies. Fire Chief Dan McEllier will certainly be extremely busy, as he already has been this year, in coming months, as I foresee 2016 being a big year for Franklin Fire Department, as we will continue to replace their aging equipment and provide them with resources necessary to keep our residents and businesses safe. Parks make life better, right, Chip? The motto used by our Parks Department that has become contagious among other Parks Departments in Indiana, as we have what I believe is the most outstanding park system. The numbers on the screen behind me speak for themselves. 850 facility rentals, over 500 more trees planted in the urban forest off of South Street. 7 additional holes coming in spring of 2016 to our disc golf course in Blue Heron Park, making it the largest course in Indiana. Over 50,000 people enjoyed our aquatic center, and over 5 miles of new trails will begin construction later this year. We will also be constructing a new shelter house in Blue Heron Park this spring. And an exciting new program coming to Franklin this year, titled Feel Great Franklin. This program has been initiated by our Park Superintendent Chip Warner and is a collaboration with Johnson Memorial Health, Partnership for a Healthier Johnson County, Purdue Extension Office, Discover Downtown Franklin, Franklin College, and the Johnson County Library, just to name a few. The goal is to link these agencies together to promote parks and recreation and community health opportunities. One outcome of this program will be an information resource and community wellness guide. The guide will increase access to programs and facilities to improve the community's behavioral, social, and physical health. As you can see, we are extremely proud of just a handful of our numerous accomplishments over the past year. But many of these investments would not be possible without the continued growth of our community and tax base. The Redevelopment Commission, led by Bob Hukin, the Franklin Development Corporation, led by Jeff Mercer, and the Economic Development Commission, led by Jake Sappenfield, have been the catalyst for much of our economic growth over the past 12 months. 2015, we welcomed 36 businesses to Franklin, with 21 of them being in the downtown. That is 115 new jobs just in downtown Franklin. We have also experienced the expansion of numerous businesses. Community Development Director Krista Linke now regularly fields inquiries from prospective businesses interested in establishing or relocating in Franklin. In a sign of a strengthening real estate and housing market, the Planning Department has also well over 250 new single-family homes proposed to begin construction in 2016. In addition to those construction numbers, there is a proposed 145 executive-level homes and homesteads at Hillview development at Eastview Drive and Upper Shelbyville Road. But we cannot rest here. We must continue to push our limits so we can one day see the full potential of our fine community. To remain relevant, we must continue to tackle projects such as our gateway, preparing for future growth, and building on an expanding trail system. 2015 brought about some much needed stormwater planning and construction. The first quarter of 2015, the city adopted our first ever stormwater master plan. It provides us with a game plan on how to fix current drainage issues and how to prepare for the future. Those of you who've been around since 2008 know exactly what I'm talking about. Two of the major project proposals will be checked off the list this year. The Youngs Creek Streambank Stabilization Project began last fall and will conclude this spring. Additionally, we were really excited to announce in the fourth quarter of 2015 that we received a grant for $1 million from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. This will begin addressing our deficiencies within the Rowing Run Ditch. We are currently in the process of constructing a new SCADA computer system to prepare the Franklin wastewater treatment plant for our continued growth. I realize many of these improvements year to year, such as stormwater and wastewater, are not so exciting and do not generate much conversation, but they are very critical for our future. Now on to a project that did generate a considerable amount of conversation, North Main Street. In 2015, we completed the North Main Street project, including the often mentioned roundabout in the picture on the bottom. In the first phase of the Jefferson and King Streets project, West Jefferson Street, west of US 31, launched what will be the most extensive infrastructure project this city has ever seen. All total, this project will span the next 42 months and includes a $22 million overhaul of the aging infrastructure and creates a gateway into our community that will make us all very proud. This spring, you will begin to see construction near the intersection of East King Street and Paris Drive. Construction will continue in that area, heading west to approximately Milford Drive. Jefferson Street from Paris Tire, east to North Main Street, will also begin in August 2016. I am confident this project in its entirety will transform Franklin into a regional destination for new businesses, new residents, and visitors to our city. Just the introduction of the plans has generated interest and landed us a new business, Hoosier Brewing Company. Hoosier Brewing will be bringing current staff and adding dozens more jobs in the coming months as they will be relocating the brewery and operating their first restaurant on the south side of East King Street. The plan is for them to be open in late spring or early summer. This summer, you will also see the construction of our next trail expansion. This trail will connect the east side of Franklin to our high school. The expansion will connect the east side of Franklin to the high school with a trail that will begin at East King Street and Eastview Drive and run north and west through the Franklin Business Park, with the final destination across US 31, where the trail from the high school stops at Commerce and US 31. As you can see, Franklin has been blessed with continued financial support from the Federal Highway Administration, the Indiana Department of Transportation, and the Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization. Altogether, we have amassed approximately $40 million in road and trail projects to be constructed over the next 4 months. The next 4 years. $40 million. So my term has been spoken for the next 4 years. My goal has always been to provide a place for our children to grow and prosper. That is why I show up to work every day. Continued collaboration with Franklin Community Schools will always continue to be a top priority during my tenure in office. You have all heard me say it before, but our community is only as good as our schools. The future leaders of Franklin are sitting in classrooms across our city, and we must provide a safe, carefree environment for them to learn, and we must provide assistance to our teachers when it is necessary. We will continue to commit police officers to our schools daily, and just this past fall, the Redevelopment Commission committed to putting Google Chromebooks in the hands of every middle school student. This is in addition to the prior year where they provided funding for Chromebooks for every high school student. This will continue to equip our students with the tools necessary to excel in the 21st century. Continued collaboration with FCS has netted us another federally funded project through our Safe Routes to School plan. We have secured funding to construct a pedestrian crossing at US 31 and Mallory Parkway in 2018. This will connect the west side residents of US 31 to the middle school. Dr. Clendenning and I frequently communicate on various issues affecting our city and schools. I am very fortunate to have a strong relationship with our schools, but it is not that common across the state of Indiana. I'm not here tonight to sugarcoat everything. We have done some incredible things in the last year. I must take a moment to congratulate our city employees who work hard for us every day to make this possible. But as I mentioned earlier, we will not slow down now. To be honest, I'm going to put my foot on the gas a little bit more in 2016. We have spent a tremendous amount of time and resources on our infrastructure since 2012, and this will certainly continue. However, it is time we take our game with the redevelopment of our downtown to the next level in an effort to bolster a more diverse list of industries. We must work to grow and nurture the entrepreneurial spirit in Franklin and provide corporate employees an alternative to the traditional workplace. So in the coming weeks, I will be convening a group of community partners in an effort to create Franklin's first co-working space. I believe this will provide aspiring entrepreneurs the opportunity to collaborate and allow them to turn their dream of business ownership into reality. In addition, many larger corporations are downsizing their office footprint and allowing employees to work outside the traditional office setting. A 2012 MBO Partners survey reports that by 2020, 60% of US workers will be completely untethered from the corporate workplace. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the demand for co-working opportunities has grown 400% in the last 2 years. This provides an opportunity that we cannot pass up. As I mentioned last Tuesday at the Rotary meeting, I spoke at length about the co-working opportunities. I open it up to you as well. I'm looking for partners. We still have a lot of questions to answer. If anyone is interested in helping out, please let us know after tonight, and I would love to collaborate with you. I will also be bringing public-private partnership opportunities to the table that were not available just a short time ago. We are now well positioned financially and have the ability to handle larger projects. Much has positively changed in the downtown since 2012, and I intend to build on those successes with even larger proposals. Concepts such as additional retail and office space and downtown housing are as critical as we move forward. We are now faced with an issue we have probably not experienced in decades: a lack of space for new downtown business. It is time we step up our game and really transform our community for future generations, for our children sitting in the classrooms. Now that we have attacked many of our dire infrastructure needs and continue to plan for the future growth of Franklin, we must now turn our focus to developing a stronger local economy. A couple months ago, a friend of mine who is a mayor of another city, I do have a friend outside of Mark Myers, was not Mark Myers, visited our downtown, and we went to lunch at the Willard right next door. He was asking about all the great things going on in Franklin. After about 20 minutes of me bragging about what our community has done over the past couple of years, he asked me why he had not heard about some of these amazing things before today. He had me stumped for a while. But later that afternoon, I was reflecting on our visit, and it became a little clear to me. We are the epitome of Hoosier humble. We are proud of who we are, but we only wish to share with those who ask or express interest. Although we still have much to do to achieve our full potential, let us not sit on the sidelines. Let's be proud of the accomplishments thus far. Everyone in Central Indiana, including Hamilton County, deserves to know what we are doing in Franklin. We have a lot of momentum right now. Let's keep it rolling and continue to build an even better community. Thank you. Good night.